Which team, by colors alone, is identifiable around the world?
The autumn wind is a raider.
Which team, by slogan, commitment to excellence?
Pillaging just for fun.
Just win, baby.
He'll knock you round.
All those things
Then upside down
are the Raiders.
and laugh when he's conquered and won.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win.
He's blowing up. Raiders.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. But you see the thumbnail? It says just leave, baby. You know what it is. Thanks for hopping on the BART, the Bay Area Raiders Talk. Brought to you by Business Decision Sports. It's your boy Black, the 7-1 Raider. And you know the spot can't be hot unless you got the Raider hot spot.
What's up, peoples? This is a good day.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this day for a minute. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been waiting for this day. You've been waiting for this day for since about week 5, week 4, somewhere in there.
Week 1. I told y'all I was a Charger game.
Huh?
Yeah, y'all thought I was crazy. I came on there. Y'all thought I was nuts. It's like, what? Me. It's always been one. I was like, nah, man, he got to be fired.
Oh, yeah. What's good with it, Miss Nikki from she the up gang. You know what's good. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button because I think this was going to be a good one. Today, we got to talk about the AP firing. Then we're going to talk about what's going to happen to your boy AOC. And we're going to discuss who do you think should be the new HNIC in charge. And then now that we know that we're the number 6, now that we know we're not the number 1, but the number 6 pick, who should we get now? Yeah. So, man, let's hop on. Let's all aboard, man. AP. Now, let me just go on and say this. We was on the show yesterday, and they announced that, AP hadn't got a call or whatnot, and he was doing the press conference, and he was looking kind of suspect to me, and you asked a very pertinent question about, why wasn't he fired yet or what was going on. So this is what this was on your show yesterday, Raider Hotspot. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. And this is how this went down yesterday before he got fired. Once everybody kind of got to start pulling their punches, saying, hey, deal with it. We got AP as a coach, because a lot of people thought that he was going to make it. So, so here we go. This was from yesterday.
I'm emotionally detached at this point. I'm expecting buffoonery. So this is really not that surprising.
Right.
So either we're keeping him, which, okay, or we decided to let him do a press conference and then fire him. So either way, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure which one's worse. What do you think is worse, Black? If we let him do a press conference, make him think he's kept the job, and then can him, or we keep him, but he's only got a 1-year deal, so he can't get any good assistance, and we're not willing to give him an extension, so we're basically just handcuffing him and dooming him to fail when he has already failed. Which one do you think is worse? Asking.
Well, it's like you know, like when you feel like you're about to get fired and then you don't get fired on that Friday, and then you come to work on Monday, and then you get fired on Monday.
Yeah.
And you like, you could have just
Why
fired
don't
me
you
on
just do that
Friday.
shit? Why you wait?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. So it's probably better to get fired on Friday, so you don't come to work on Monday. You know, so
Yeah, that's a waste of time.
wasted whatever. But yeah, I still have about 4-5 toes out saying he ain't gonna make it. But you know, it looks like I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible they still. It's absolutely. This is the Raiders. 100% possible they still can him, right?
So people like to say that they're rarely wrong, or not wrong on the Raider talk. Even when I try to be humble and say maybe I'm wrong, I was right.
He was right.
You know, and like I said, I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out still, because it just didn't seem like the good thing, the smart thing to do. Because I think as an organization, we're starting to do smart things.
Okay.
What people are thinking, I think we're starting to do smart things, and this AP firing was one of them. And you even said, actually, you were the one that said, no, it's 100% possible that they might fire him. You know what I'm saying? So you know just as well as I knew, like, hey, it smelled like smoke, but it don't smell like 420 smoke. It smelled like burnt rubber, and that's what ended up happening with AP, because I was asleep. I woke up, and you know what you do when you wake up. Sometimes you grab the phone, flip through it, and
Yeah.
I saw first thing I saw was Adam Schefter. I said, Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go act them 2 white boys from Menlo. Let me hit Google. And next thing you know it, AP was fired, and my dreams came true. So, bro, what do you think about that clip yesterday that we did after we were talking about this?
I think it's perfect, man. It's a real clear indication of, like, I think we're in tune with what the Raiders are, right? So that's good. Man, this is just such a Raider thing to do, right? We got to fire him special. You can't just fire him. You got to fire him on a holiday, or make him announce his own firing at his press conference after the game. Shout out to Del Rito. We gotta do something especially egregious and strange in some way. Maybe use a overhead projector, really, like, break down why he's shitty, right? That's one thing you could do. We be firing.
Yeah, you're right. We can't do things the normal way, and like you said, it just would have made too much sense to fire him with everybody else. But you had to put him out there one last time so we could see the greatness that is Antonio Pierce. They say black and gray out. He said that showed dysfunction and no loyalty. Nobody's gonna want to come play here, and we're gonna have to overpay. You know what? I used to think like that. Maybe even a week ago. But I got to thinking about things a little bit deeper. We are dysfunction. I always say this. We put the fun in dysfunction. That's what we gonna do. The way we fired him just now was dysfunctional. Our whole franchise was dysfunctional under the McDaniels. The way we got rid of Del Rio, dysfunction. So let's not think we're going to stop being dysfunctional. What we got to do is we got to put the fun back in dysfunctional. So people are going to want to play here. Maybe not the top players, but if you give them enough money and it's late enough in their career, I bet you they'll come. Overpay.
Who's going to be the coach? Right?
Yeah, it depends on who's the coach going to be, right? And as far as having to overpay, that is a slight possibility that we might have to overpay, but that's never been something that we've been really too concerned about anyway, because we always paid the wrong people, no matter how much we paid them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel what you're saying. I do feel what you're saying. And I'm going to address that later about that in the coaching segment, about what kind of coach would really want to come here. And you might be surprised at what I might think about that, because last week I kind of felt like coaches might not want to come to the only certain kind of coaches want to come here. Coaches that's trying to get a job and a coach that's trying to have his last job, you know. So
let me just say one thing about this with AP. Like, I hear, and I get the idea of like having them do a press conference, right? It was rough. I even said that, right, yesterday. But if you really think about it, man, like, that man was given a microphone and an opportunity to talk about himself, to reflect on the season, to show growth, whatever he needed to do at that point. They didn't give him a script, right? It was like he chose all those words. He could have chose different words instead of saying like, "Oh, you know, I wish I was just trusting my gut," which is basically like saying like I trusted the wrong people or something. He could have just been like, I didn't have a clear understanding of like the philosophies and, you know, values that inform who I am as a coach, and I need to get that shit together, and that's on me. And that's what happened this year, right? And so I'm gonna grow as a coach, and you know, got some specific people I think I need to talk to in order to pick their brains, but you know, we're going to get better, and everybody's going to get better in the building, that sort of shit, right? He had an opportunity to say whatever he wanted to say, and I think he just buried himself further. So I get it. Oh, yeah, the press conference. I'm just saying, you give me a microphone and an opportunity to talk about myself, I'm not going to make things worse. And he tends to do that a lot. That's all I have to say. I want to kind of make that point. And looks like we may have a
you're right. He lacked accountability.
Right.
He lacked accountability, and it was always something else. We understood the position that you're in. We understood everything that was going on. It was a lot of grace installed for you. It's just that you kept digging holes that you did not need to dig. So consequently, you feel when you dig holes, it's going to fill up with water once the boat takes on water. So don't keep digging holes. You're supposed to have been patching holes. So even when he came out, I even said on the show yesterday, even the way he came out talking about AOC and he should have had a full camp and he should have been this and all that. And I'm like, so you already started up for next year already. You don't even know who the quarterback in the quarterback room yet. You already making it seem like it should be AOC job. What if he goes into camp, whoever we draft, go in there and go act crazy and go play good? Or even Minshew, God forbid, if he go to camp and he stop turning over the ball and get a grasp of the concepts because it's year 2 and we have a different offensive coordinator that fits maybe what he's doing.
And goes back to the player that was second all-time to Patrick Mahomes and least amount of interceptions through his first 24 or 30 starts or something to that effect.
Yeah, so imagine that.
Not usually turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's not what he do. He had a bad year, like because the Raiders was a bad team. Everything was bad. So what if this competition gets really, really good in the offseason and you've already said in the press conference, AOC this, and this is the reason why. And then you throwing Minshew under the bus inadvertently because you basically said that you made the bad choice by picking him first, which I don't even think that was even accurate. But he was doing too many things, putting his foot in his mouth, and he only got one mouth and 2 feet. So I don't know what's going on with him, but I wish him the best of luck. Of course, I don't like people getting fired or nothing like that, but at the end of the day, they don't call this show friends. They call it show business. So, do you think though? So I guess ultimately what got him fired? What ultimately got him fired? Because he seemed like he was more like a former coach than a coach. I mean, a former player than a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in the locker room basically having a bunch of fun with everybody else, and he was just along for the ride. And he wasn't the leader amongst men. So ultimately, I think that's what got him fired, that he wasn't a leader amongst men. What do you think ultimately was the one or handful of things that got him terminated?
I think players having to have a meeting where they talk about the coaching staff not paying attention to enough detail. And that was like week 4 or 5. Having a quarterback competition around that same time after having a quarterback competition in preseason. Liking social media tweets or whatever or against your own top players. Publicly, coming out and criticizing the heart of the team that you are supposed to be coaching, and the biggest reason we were behind you is because you had the team inspired, right? Those are just some, basic ones. There are more, but those are the heart of it. It's just this one theme of like not understanding how to like control narrative and focus on like what's important, right? Like loose lips ships.
Yeah, definitely. Loose lips sink ships, for sure. And it's not all on him too, because it's easy to kick a man when he's down, but I was kicking him when he was standing up. But the thing about it is, it was a imperfect storm of things that got him into this situation, because you can't learn in this division. You can't get swept through the whole division and then still be trying to learn. And then these coaches that you got to try to compete with, Sean Payton, Harbaugh, and what's the other? Andy Reid. There's no margin for error. So even if we gave you one coach margin of error, you can't let all 3 of them beat us 6 games, because that mean, or 5 games. That means we won't be able to make the playoffs. And even if we do, we're not going to win the AFC because we can't even beat our own division. So it just was unfortunate for him that was a situation that he found himself in. So that's why he ultimately got fired. His lack of accountability, throwing players under the bus, being too much of a ex-player versus a leader of men. Excuse me. And what's that?
It's like a lack of maturity.
Yeah, his lack of coaching inexperience. That all that stuff just culminated into him getting fired. But do you think it was fair that he got fired?
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about him being fired because of the team's record, right? Or specifically like how well they played against the other team on the field, then that would be unfair. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about things that he did have under his control, right? That had nothing to do with the talent of the team, right? Like, we got dog walked in our home opener by the Carolina Panthers, and the team looked like it quit. I'll say it again. We got dog walked in our home opener by the Carolina Panthers.
Playing a backup quarterback.
And the fans felt like the team quit and they left early.
That's not about the talent of the team, bro. Right? You know, liking a tweet where Devontae gets traded is not about the talent of the team. Ain't got shit to do with that. When you call timeout, when you challenge a play, when you decide to go for it or not, really don't have shit to do with the talent of the team, bro. Like if they fail, okay, whatever, right? Like make solid decisions that are consistent and make sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it ain't about the roster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree because it, like I said, we had greats for the injuries, the lack of having a running game, and all the stuff that we could really quantify that could be fixed within a season or two or a season and a half, right, or something like that. It's the way that he was driving the ship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what the issue was, how he was driving it. And so it was fair. It wasn't an emotional business decision to hire him. Shout out to Business Decision Sports. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit the you feel me in the corner. And so that was the reason why. And like I said, it was just a bad situation. But one thing that, as like what I've been hearing is he got fired because he was black, or if he wasn't a black coach, would have played out differently? I would say no, because you know we just fired a white coach in a similar fashion, the same amount of time. The Raiders is a progressive organization. We usually do things first, and we have a black woman president that we just hired, so we do things like that. So I don't think it was motivated by race, or we were setting them up or anything like that. It's just that he got a chance. I mean, like, he did get a chance. And had he came in and won 8 games or something like that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It'd be totally different. It'd be like
he could have won. He could have won the same amount of games and just like made the right decisions.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Maybe it don't matter if he made that 4th down call. We still lose the game, but at least we have confidence in him right now. And he would still be the coach. He could 4-13, bro. None of the stuff that we talked about had to do with wins, losses, performance of players on the field. It had to do with him and his decision making and like, you know, stuff. A lot of it off the field, man. Like can't handle a press conference to save his life.
Right. And the whole being emotionally up and down. I didn't care for that, because that's how the team played. Yep. And then when it started going downhill, it stayed downhill. Matter of fact, it rolled downhill
for 10 games.
So I didn't like that. And then once he got wind that he probably was about to get replaced, or even if he didn't hear nothing, like I said, once you know you about to get fired because everybody just stopped talking to you or going to lunch with you or cracking that joke with you and all that other stuff, and all that start happening, and you like, well, let me start coming to work earlier and doing this, and let me go talk to these players and see if I can get a win or 2 out of this and show them that I'm still kicking and fighting and all that. And they already drew up the paperwork for you and all that. So that's what that looks like.
Replacements, and you don't even,
So that's what it looked like ended up happening with AP. And unfortunately, it is what it is. So I don't think it was racially motivated. And one thing that really jumped out, though, was they did not get rid of Telesco. They did not get rid of Telesco. What do you think about that?
If we fire a GM after 1 season, I don't even know what we're doing. That's insane. Do you know how short of a time 1 season is to try to judge GM? That's nuts. Like they're the Jacksonville is getting shit because they fired their dude after 2.5 seasons. They're like, that's crazy. You can't judge it. 2.5 seasons not enough time for a GM to make it 1 year where he drafted well in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. and we got a good free agent out of free agency in Christian Wilkins. I mean, come on, man, that would be nuts. You talk about we'll never hire a GM again. Nobody will come here. You think firing a damn?
Yeah, firing a GM after a year is hot. I mean, you gotta essentially bust on all your draft picks. Nobody in the building like you, and
slap like a secretary.
Yeah. So I thought that was telling as well that they did keep him. I thought they should keep him. I see that the nation is divided between them. I haven't formulated an opinion yet because we haven't even seen what his players brought to the table yet. But so far, they're trending up, and that's what you want to see out of draft picks. Now it's up to the draft pick himself to decide to uphold what the franchise have standardized for you. So we'll see, because Brock Bowers was definitely a grand slam. So I don't know. That's enough to keep a job for a year already, really, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Even if he got lucky.
JPJ and then Dylan Glaze.
Yeah, so that's what I think.
Delmar Glaze.
So I want to, but what I do want to see out of him is how does he go about drafting a quarterback? Because you can tell a lot about a GM according to the quarterback that he chooses.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Herbert kind of during his.
That's not a bad pick. I don't like Herbert like that, but he's not a bad quarterback to pick.
Not at all. He was in the room and a part of the decision that brought in Manning, right? Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So now Telesco has the daunting task of picking a quarterback. But before he does that, what's going to happen to Aidan O'Cconnell? What's going to happen to AOC? What do you think should happen to AOC at this point?
I think AOC should be brought back and, thought of as the starter until we find his replacement this offseason. And then, they should be allowed to, if it's a young player, I would hope that that player, that the quarterback is allowed to have some time to sit on the bench and not be forced to start immediately. I think Aidan is going to be good enough for us to put him out there and feel confident that if we got the rest of the stuff together, we have a decent chance to win the games. And he can definitely test out the O-line for us because he'll find the weaknesses. Yeah. And then if it's the ship is ready, then we can complete the mutiny or whatever you want to call it, and throw him overboard. I'm sorry, bench him.
I'm surprised. He said, bench him. I'm surprised to say that because you've been the biggest proponent that I've seen, best logical proponent I've seen about O'Connell. That's what gives me the objectivity that I have when I listen to you, because I'd have been through him overboard, me personally. You know what I'm saying? But I do see the value in him. I do. And you're right. We can give him a shot right there. And he deserved that for sure. I ain't saying that he don't deserve a shot. He definitely deserves a shot. And he comes in as almost like the incumbent quarterback-ish. You know what I'm saying? Because now he been with the franchise a little time, even through the ups and the downs. Well, more downs than any ups. Even more so than Minshew, even though Minshew's been thrown in the fire. So I think he definitely deserved his option to come here and win it out. But that's what you're going to have to do, is win it out, because this what we have in here is a competition from here on out. You know what I'm saying? If whoever comes here. You know what I'm saying? We got to put our best product forward.
Absolutely. I would lean to letting the young player sit if it's possible. Just saying that.
Yeah.
And I think, and then, also giving him AOC a little bit of runway, because you never know, man. I mean, when the guy has his back against the wall, all of a sudden he plays a little better.
Well,
He's a
you would
little
hope
more,
he do. Yeah.
little more agile. Did you see him like almost sort of kind of run close to faster before?
Yeah. Yeah.
When Mac was chasing him and stuff. It was like,
Yeah, like the analogy I said to you yesterday. If AOC had to run a total of 13 yards to get the first down, he got to 12 of them yards. But then when he was out running Khalil Mack, Mack was about 8 yards or 7 yards behind him and snatched him by the time he got, to that 12th yard. But he was moving, and I was holding my breath when he was running. I told you, I swear I was. But I see the grit in him. He don't want to go out injured. That says a lot about a player. I don't care what anybody say about anything, including Carr. If you get injured and you fight that back, I don't care what it is, especially at that level. Yeah, that says a lot, especially when you're playing in a league where everybody's hurt, and then your injury could take you out and your franchise with it. So shout out to him for that. Now, I understand why people did like him. I wasn't in love with him. AP obviously was in love with him. Did that ultimately get him fired? His attachedness to AOC.
I was talking to my dad about this whole situation with the quarterback stuff, right? And AP seems to be a pretty bitter dude, right? I think that he was, after not getting a quarterback in this draft, I think he was pretty disillusioned about his situation and season. And I think that he kind of sort of started Minshew out of spite. Follow me. Instead of getting the trade up in the draft that he wanted, that was the big argument between him and Telesco. Telesco signed Gardner Minshew, and that was his quarterback room that he got to go to war with. I think he was bitter about it. And I think that he started Minshew as a kind of like, well, here's your hero kind of thing, right? Let's see your hero. And he kind of managed him with that attitude, right? Like he was almost rooting for him to fail the whole time. He pulled him early after 2 interceptions in one game. It was like, see, he's not good. That's kind of his attitude at press conferences. So yeah, I think that his emotional kind of nature and connection to believing that AOC was better kind of did him in there, because it was still his decision, even if other people thought differently. And kind of, I think that he kind of like flubbed it, man. Like he fumbled the bag. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, he tried to backdoor Telesco by putting Minshew out there, and hopefully Minshew failed, and then that way, by default, you put O'Connell in, and O'Connell make AP look like a genius, because he was like, that's my guy all the time. I always liked him. I rode with him the last 6 games of the season, and he got me my job essentially. So I could see that happening, because he did manage him like that, and you could see it. And like you say, like how you go in the game and throw 2 picks and get pulled, and now it's an issue the rest of the season, not just that game. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have easily came out and was like, yeah, we want to start off on our best foot forward. He just wasn't feeling it today, and we wanted to see what we had, but he is our starter. He could have easily said that. Easily said and killed any quarterback thing, but he kept it lingering, and everybody kept riding. We were AOC, and I kept telling everybody, what are y'all talking about? AOC is not that guy. but he attached himself to AOC, and AOC is still here, and he ain't. So that's a lesson he learned as a head coach. Like, and that ain't even that's rare because sometimes usually the quarterback. I don't know. You gotta be careful that quarterback position who you choose, and that's why I'm really interested in see who Telesco is going to pick. Daniel, shout out to you, Daniel. What's good? Daniel says he think Dangerous is going to cook for us next year. Now I don't know if the Steelers are going to let Russell Wilson go. Especially if he come and win the playoff game against the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think they'll let him go either. We'll see. I don't think there's going to be any good quarterbacks available on the market. That's usually how it works.
Yeah, I have one. I got one. I said it yesterday. I said everybody been throwing these quarterback names around, and I'm like, hey, I haven't seen nobody that made me say, hey, he could be a Raider. That's in the NFL already. But for me, out of California, well, Stanford, because you gotta be careful when you say California. It is, but when you say California, you think Cal Berkeley if you out here, right? Right. But from Stanford, Tanner McGee. I like Tanner. I like him. Old Tanner McGee, man. Yeah, so dude. I like Tanner McGee because he's accurate. He's big as far as his stature, like what you want to see in your quarterback, 6'3" or taller. For me, and he's somewhat mobile, and he looked like he can toss that tater. Oh yeah. So I'm on. That's the guy I'm co-signing right now. He said, man, he said you better not be talking Wilson coming to us.
Like, I heard people say that last year. John. I heard people say that last year when I was talking Wilson coming here. I heard people say the same thing the year before that when I wanted Baker Mayfield. So maybe y'all should listen.
I personally wanted Russell Wilson, especially at the amount that we was getting him at. It was a win-win.
Don't pay for it, yeah.
It was a win-win because look at the Steelers.
Got him for free.
Hey, John says Baker yes, Wilson no. He see. Okay. Hey, so let me tell you about Big John. He's a co-host of Business Decision Sports. I don't know. I think he was supposed to come on that night that you were on, but yeah, but he's gonna y'all gonna cross paths eventually, sooner than later. And he don't like Russell Wilson, I don't think, but Baker Mayfield he could see. He said Wilson always reverts back to conservatives and don't pull the trigger.
Okay, that's a fair little assessment on him a little bit there. Yeah. But he
might not have that at the Raiders though. With the Raiders, what do we got to lose? Ain't nobody about to take his job.
Yeah, and see that some of that's coaching, bro. Like Pete Carroll, he like, listen, we got a defense. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah,
don't fuck it up, bro. Like complimentary football.
Right. Plus, he might got PTSD after throwing that pick in the Super Bowl.
A little bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So, Tanner McGee. Remember that name, Tanner McGee, y'all.
Yeah, 24 years old, 6'6". Big boy.
6'6"?
6'6".
Oh, yeah.
230. Ooh. Definitely a arm guy.
Okay, well, now that we know that AP is out, there's a lot of candidates that's out there. And one thing that we did a show like a couple days ago, and the writing was on the wall for us. We seen it, and this is what we have to say about our coaching staff. And now I want to know, going forward, what kind of staff should we accumulate? Check this out.
These guys are retarded. We got a retarded coaching staff, yo. I mean, that's what it is. That's the majority of it. Is we got a retarded ass coaching staff.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now that we got rid of the retarded coaching staff that we have,
Thank God.
who do you want to see at the realm to lead the Raider Nation?
All right, so let's start off with some news that broke earlier today. Apparently, Brady has been speaking with Belichick about the coaching position. We'll see what that means, but that's very interesting. Very interesting. I also broke a couple days ago the Pete Carroll kind of angle. It's on our show, and then it's been backed up by Vinny B. So thank you, Vinny B. There's also been whispers and stuff coming out that Gruden is fully able to come back and coach again without being interfered by the league. We've heard about Vrabel kind of being an option. The Raiders are seeking permission to interview Steve Spagnuolo from the Chiefs defensive coordinator. And then there's Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator for the Bucks. And then there's always the oldie but goodie. If we still got a chance here at Shador, then we might be looking at Prime, right? Dion. So to me, those are the 7 that I'm really kind of considering. I'm not a huge fan of the Ben Johnson thing because he doesn't have any head coaching experience. I don't think we're in a place where we could take that risk. Aaron Glenn is much the same boat for me. I think other teams may be in a position where they can take that gamble and they may hit. Awesome. But it's not really us, right? Like, we just had a baby. We can't be at the craps table. So, if I need to rank these options, I think I'm going Belichick, Carroll, Gruden, Vrabel, Spagnuolo, Cohen, and then Dion. And there you go. That's what I got.
Oh yeah, you dropped a few names up there. My boy John, Big John Wick said, no more retreads. Excluding Gruden.
Coach in the NFL. That's like crazy.
Excluding Gruden because he should have never been fired in the first place. And that's why I think he should. That's why I feel like he should have first dibs at the job.
Mm-hmm. Is Belichick considered a retread as the greatest coach of all time or whatever stuff?
That's a good question. Would he be considered a retread? That's a good question, John. Answer that. I think John Gruden should get it because, first of all, the game gods tried to take him out, but the game gods wouldn't let him. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to go back and be like, hey, even if we liked Belichick, this was your job. This was your 10-year job. This was supposed to be yours. So do you still want it, knowing the history that just went through it? Like, y'all broke up and she turned into a thought and she came back. Do you still want her? You know what I'm saying? Do you still want her? If not, you can move around. Give him the option. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. Now, Coach Prime. Now that's only, of course, if Shador come. If Shador come, then yeah, I would embrace that.
That's
now,
like number 2 option.
Huh?
Is he number 2 option for you, Prime?
Number 2 option for me, I would probably go with it being that Shador. Yeah, if Shador was our quarterback, yes. Because if Shador was our quarterback and Gruden was here, I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? I could live with that. So, or even if he wasn't, I could live with it. So, yeah, that would probably be my number 2 option. Then a Belichick would be cool, but what I would think about Belichick is he would be the antithesis of AP, but I don't think we need a coach that's the Patriot way where you don't say nothing out of line, out of pocket, everything got to be straight up and down. Because it was hella times Gronk wanted to say something and he was up there, and Gronk, that's when I realized Gronk was funny. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he would still get it out, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, we need like the militant stepdaddy, but we do need a stepdaddy that don't play around, but at least let him, you know, some wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We need him that much. Now,
he said, crack down too hard.
Crack down too hard. Now, coaches that kind of in a bunch for me is like the Aaron Glenn's. I think that would be good for us. Good defensive-minded coach. I think Brian Flores would be actually good in persona because he has that Tomlin type approach, and we do need that. But, you know, he's not going to be too hard, and he got that F the world mentality because of how they did him and all that. So I think he would fit good. I think I don't like the Rabel thing so much. Let me see. Pete Carroll is good. We do need a coach that already know when to call timeout. So we already a coach that already got a blueprint about how he go about his work. We need like a coach that can compete with, like I said, the Paytons and the Reeds, and he can outsmart them sometime. We need coaches a coach that could do that, and Pete Carroll fit that bill. So I think he would make it into my top 3. But the other guys that I named, I wouldn't be mad at them. Everybody talking about Ben Johnson or whatever his name is, whatever. I don't know. That ain't no guarantee or whatever. That's almost putting him in a situation too, like AP. You know, because what if he come out and he lose like 8 games real quick? Then they're gonna be like,
question.
Yeah,
Ben Johnson is deciding that he will interview with the Raiders, right? Does that mean that maybe, because his thing was you need to have certain things in line, right? A top quarterback prospect or player in order for him to consider going there. Do you see one there with the Raiders? He's interviewing with us.
Well, the good thing I can say, like we were talking about earlier, about this a place might not be a destination point. And that's kind of changed on me a little bit for the simple fact that now that I see the Raiders are making the right moves, like, for example, they're not holding on to coaches that is obviously not it. So they're not afraid to pull the trigger. It's not that we want to keep firing coaches, because obviously when we gave Gruden a 10-year contract, we want to hush that all the way down. You wouldn't have to worry about that. So that was an excellent thing that we were trying to do already. So I just think that, okay, cool. This might not be such a bad place, because now you can come in, you can implement your own running back, your own quarterback. The line ain't already gelled where you can't stick in players that you kind of feel like need to go there to fit the scheme that you're trying to go. You can go get you a top wide receiver, another good receiver. You know what I'm saying? So you got full autonomy of the offense to revamp that how you want. There is no structure. There is no what we're doing already that you got to come in and change. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. The defense has a blueprint, so to speak. So maybe you could kind of keep that together and improve it. So this place might not be such a bad place after all, because you don't have to come in. It's not a fixer upper where you got to just do a lot of demolition first. It's already demolished.
Yeah, and we have all the tools and materials, right? We have a bunch of draft picks.
Yeah.
Good amount of cap space, right? So it's not they're cash strapped or something. We making money hand over fist, so he has all the money for bonuses and all that kind of stuff that you need. It's Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of attracting, because I was thinking, in this situation, what I know right now, would I even go coach the Raiders? Knowing what I know about the Raiders, and I said to myself, I would.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? If that's the case, then these are the reasons why. And then it obviously we're going to see it play out, but I think there's a lot of pros to go with these cons.
Yeah, and I think that is a more attractive job than we're giving it credit for. But I feel like there's something more to Ben Johnson saying he would come do the interview anyway, because we don't have a quarterback in place, and that was one of the prerequisites for him. It could be that the league already knows that people want to trade down, or people are going to go somewhere, or are not favored by certain teams. Things like that don't get leaked too early, but it'll sometimes be very apparent to people within the league, like, hey, the Titans are not doing this or that, or you know what I mean, or Cleveland is doing this and we don't. So there could be some clear indication from him that this will be a place that has a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, so Big John say he don't like how Belichick fell on his face after Brady left, so that's why he's against that. He said, "What's the Patriot way without Brady, and does it work?" The Patriot way is militant, tight-lipped, accountability. And does it work? I would say it works, but you got to make sure everybody buy in, and I don't think this is the environment for that. I don't think that. What are the thoughts of people calling AP a DEI hire? Damn. See, that's the thing about these new terms.
Yeah.
Like these new terms are curated for people like that to redefine them into something, so that way you can kind of wrap your head around it. Do I think he deserved the job? Yes, because he came in and won game. It's hard to win games in the NFL. I bet you, if anybody know that, he knows that from the playing on the field perspective and as a coaching perspective. It's hard to win. Just because you won 6 games last year don't guarantee you win 6 games the next year, because I promise you, like I tell people all the time, when that offseason come, them people don't do nothing but watch a bunch of tapes, and you better not lose the same way you lost last year.
Yeah,
they better get creative, because once the league catch up to you, then you better went down the road and learn a trick or two. So eventually, that's what happened to him. And like I said, it was a bad storm for him coming here to the Raiders, because this is a hard place to satisfy, because this is not a organization that haven't won before. We've won championships before. So it's not like we're trying to search for a formula to win a championship. We're just trying to put it together. So I think he did deserve it. But that's a great question, though. So people may feel that way.
I'll ask this question: If there's DEI hires, is there homogeneity hires? Is that what you call when they hire someone that looks just like them over and over again? Just one. So then another thing I'd like to say. Hired because of circumstances, man. Like sometimes shit just breaks a certain way, and like you kind of have to go with the momentum of it. Like he was on fire as far as like having the team play hard. The defense was looking good for the first time in, I don't know, half a century or something, right? We beat Kansas City, beat Denver, right? And like John said, rah, right? Rah, right? And then we already did the thing with Spagnuolo. Like our owner was in this position where he already made the other choice, and everybody's like, what if? It's just what if. I mean, Spagnuolo could have been the man. You never know. And then he didn't get a job anywhere else. No one else thought he was good enough to do it. But somehow there is this like nostalgia about that. And so you got to take yourself back to that time, right? It was like everything broke for him to get this opportunity. Sometimes shit just happens like that, right? I don't really think it has nothing to do with DEI at all. Like, right? We already been across the bridge of hiring minority coaches and all that shit. We don't do that shit. We do it because they're fucking the best opportunity or best person for candidate for the job. Always did that shit. We actually won a lot because we would do that, right? We have Willie Brown because we would go to historically black colleges and things like that when everybody else wouldn't, right? Yeah. So, no, man, we don't have to do all that DEI shit. And yeah, homogeneity hires. Think about that. How do you catch it?
Oh, damn. All that talking and couldn't even hear it. Damn. All right, let me see. You said, but we're still overpaying for Christian Wilkins. That's true. You said, I wouldn't say he was a DI. I call him a rah-rah hire. Yes, he was a rah-rah hire. It was an emotional business decision. I think that's because of the Bisaccia thing. We didn't hire the not hiring of Bisaccia, then we went and got McDaniels, and then we were like, well, we would have been better off with Bisaccia. And so this time, when the situation came right back at the blackjack table, when we didn't double down the last time, we saw the same cards. We doubled down this time, and it didn't pan out. So instead of getting a face card, we got another ace, and then now we were stuck, right? So
more times and bust.
Yeah. So, and he said, "This is what happened when you screw up every draft pick since Derek Gibson, and expect coach to build culture with a bunch of free agent vets because our draft class doesn't pan out." And I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that. Yeah, I wouldn't call him a DEI hire at all, though. But what about Patrick Graham, though? Because we were talking about the coaching staff. We haven't heard anything about Graham. What are your feelings and thoughts about that?
About the fact that we have to get a whole new staff. I think.
Well, you think he out there?
Listen, he is not under contract. The head coach that he was under is fired. He's interviewing for parallel jobs. He's interviewing for the DC job in Cincinnati. Yeah, he's gone. That's what you call gone.
Yeah.
So we have to get a whole new staff. They're all fired. That's how that works.
Yeah, well.
And I don't blame him. I mean, he got passed up for the job that he probably thought he deserved when McDumbass got canned, right? And instead, his linebacker coach with very little experience got the job over him.
Right.
When you get someone who's under you promoted over you, it's a sign. So, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, and plus, anyway, it's hard for you to maintain a coach through 3 different regimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and none of them, and it's not like our defense is top 5. Because if it was, then I could see that. You got to keep this guy, and then even if that is the case, you got to give him the head coaching job at that point.
For him, yes.
Yeah.
Now the guys that we should try to hold over if we can, or like a Frank Smith and Rob Leonard. You know, I think very talented. Edgar Bennett went through like 3 different administrations, so it's very possible. So Frank Smith and Rob Leonard are the kind of position coaches I like to keep around.
Yeah. So, back to the old proverbial drawing board then, right? So,
yeah.
So without looking too far down the road, because I like what the Raiders are doing, they're starting to take things systematically, and now we've taken care of the coaching position. I mean, as far as getting rid of them, because we knew we had to make a decision on that, or see if we were going to try to play it out again another year or so. What we do have coming up is the draft. What we do know is we got the number 6 pick in the draft. And like you said, that there's been talking, like the league knows, they know who their options pretty much are, right? They know, like when that leak or when that came out, the story came out that according to the sources, Shador ain't no number 1 first round draft pick like that. That might not literally mean he don't need to go in the first round, but what that means, he is not a top 10 pick or a top 5 pick like everybody, like they think it is. That was just a soft way of saying it. And so that basically what I saw on the wall, essentially saying that Shador could drop to a 6 or below because of the fact that, hey, everybody's not sold on him. Like, it's more flash than fire, because you got the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, the Pats, and the Jags. So all you gotta need to know is the mindset of 3 of those teams or 4 of them, and then you can kind of tell, like, all right, we'll be able to get Cam or Shador, So what do you think? It might drop. Do you think he's going to drop that low, or what do you think is the landscape of the quarterback position? Or what should we do with our number 6 pick, even if it is wait to get a quarterback later? Who do you think we should get, or what do you think we should do?
So I think you got to, obviously on draft day, see what happens. It's possible that Cam or Shador drops down, or both of them, Cam and Shador, drops down to that place where it's possible to pick them. Because I think the Titans seem iffy about wanting to draft a quarterback. There's something in the air on that. And so watch that space. Okay. But don't be surprised if later on you hear that they've decided to go in a different direction and not draft a quarterback early. And if so, then that pick's for sale. And I know the buyer, the New York Football Giants. At 4, they would want to move all the way up and make sure they secure their guy. After they look at him and looked at the quarterbacks, I think their guy is going to be Cam Ward because he fits everything that they want to do on offense. Brian Dable will probably have a little baby when he watches the tape. Okay. So if that's true, right? And then, like I said, Cleveland's going to Cleveland, guys. Just count on it. They always Cleveland. They're middle of Cleveland right now with a $275 billion quarterback that's all guaranteed, and they're not even sure if they want to play him. They're going to Cleveland again. That's just what they do. They're the quarterback hell, the just whirlpool of quarterback shitstorms. They will mess this up somehow. And I think that somehow is that they're going to go ahead and run with the show again and like not pick one high because they're not sure or something. Maybe they'll go with like a third round quarterback who has no effect. But they're gonna Cleveland it. And with, the Titans having traded back and decided they're not even gonna do anything there. They'll be there at 4. After New England picks at 3, Travis Hunter probably. And they're going to say, you know what, we should just trade back to 6 and get some more stuff. And we're going to trade up to 4. And that's where we get Shedeur Sanders, guys. So when it happens, just like that, I'm going to need something from the nation. I'm going to need what's called validation. All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna throw an old school term out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw an old school term. We're gonna give you your propers.
Propers.
Like I remember Hammer used to say, getting your propers on. We're gonna give you your propers. I think that the Raiders with the 6th pick, I don't know. I don't know, because really you only need to know what 3 of the teams doing for the most part, because you know that Travis is gonna go up somewhere in the top 5. Then essentially you just need to know which one of the 4 other teams need quarterbacks. Jacksonville is not one of them, so that eliminates them. So Tennessee, it might be word that Tennessee ain't messing with. So you got the Pats. Are they going to go for a quarterback? Are the Giants going to go for a quarterback? The Browns going to go for a quarterback? One of them going to go get Travis Hunter? So it's very conceivable that and Cam Ward gets picked with one of these quarterbacks. So it's very conceivable.
Take a tackle too. Watch. Cleveland might just take like a tackle, Will Howard or something.
So it's very conceivable that he just naturally falls to us at 6. And if that does happen, then I'm with that. That if he falls to us at 6, so then that way at least we didn't have to pay number 1 money for him.
Or, even going from 6 to 4, guys, it's not going to be too crazy. I mean, it's something, but it's not going to be crazy, man. We're talking, maybe we have to give up one of those extra thirds that we got.
Or that like third round that we got from Devontae,
right? And then maybe like another one next year or something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think with the 6th pick, if he's there, get him. If not, then the conversation is ad litem what we've been saying all the way up into this point. It could be a plethora of different options. I just think it's very hilarious that Devontae Adams left and his team is picking 7th behind us. So that says a lot. All right, this is the time of the show where this is the last stop. So we're going to let you get your last words and whatever it is that you have on your mind about the Raiders and everything that just happened. And we're going to see y'all the next time around. So Raider Hotspot. This is the last stop.
Quickly, I love the Steve Spagnuolo request. I hope we get to interview him. That is an Al Davis classic. Interview the coordinator of your rival, because even if you don't hire him, you get to pick his brain and find out all the little stuff that if he really wants to win the job, you might have to talk a little bit, you know, give us a little something about what you guys do. So good move. Loving that. I like the Cohen guy, coordinator. I like his association.
Uh-oh. I think he froze up. Let me get these comments first. He said, "What about Bruce Arians?" Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You froze up.
I know.
Do you know where you were at?
I think I just talked about Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
So like that, Al Davis move, great move there. If we're stuck with the 6th pick and not able to get up and get Shador or something like that, there's still a lot there. I really like Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan. The receiver from Arizona could be a really good move there. He's going to be a dominant player, 6'5" guy. And then some quarterbacks that I'm interested in seeing and have a chance to kind of creep into the middle first round area, depending on what they do through combines and, you know, pro days and all that good stuff where quarterbacks jump up. You got like Will Howard, Jackson Dart, and then Dylan Gabriel, right? How does Dylan Gabriel measure, right? How tall is he? How much does he weigh? It's gonna matter a lot, like for his pro assessment. And then Jackson Dart's been looking pretty good on tape, and people won't stop talking about Will Howard. And so he's physically pretty imposing too. That's gonna be interesting. That's my main stuff. Yeah.
All right. We'll get to the comments on the way out. This is my last stop here. Yeah. I'm glad we stood on business. I'm glad we stood on them 4 or 5 toes that I was leaning on. You know what I'm saying? Because we were making every excuse in the book for everything. And I just want to play this video, this clip from the other day from us that I expressed. And this pretty much is going to sum up how I felt about everything. I need to stop saying is, I want to see what he got. Like, stop saying that.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. 2, stop saying AP needs an off season. We know who these people are, man. We know who AP is. We know his deficiencies as a coach. Like, everybody's saying now, give him this off season because there was so much going on this season. Like, we know who AP is. I know who he is. Why y'all don't know who AP is? Do y'all not know who AP is? Maybe let me stop. Do y'all not know who AP is, Fizzle?
Yeah, he was the guy that went around and did all the podcasts and, you know, Raiders and had everybody smoking cigars and stuff, you know, just doing all kinds of, you know, stuff that he shouldn't be doing. I don't know, telling everybody the game plan, and then, you know, not being able to do anything about what he's really saying, just really talking out at the side of his neck, making us look like a circus.
You're like Thomas say, I know one thing. I'm sick of AP smiling at his pressers. What the fuck is so funny?
He's getting paid. He's getting paid. That's what's so funny.
You gotta learn that stoic look and stop either smiling and laughing or throwing people under the bus. It can't be one extreme or the other. You gotta come right down the middle.
And those are my thoughts about all this. Like, I'm glad the Raiders had enough foresight to steer this ship in the right direction. I'm glad we're making moves, business decisions. AP, that's what they say. Be careful what you say. Business decisions were made. The decision has been made, and I'm glad we made it, and I'm glad the Raiders are starting to make these good business decisions business decisions. Make sure y'all subscribe to Business Decision Sports.
Get up in there. That's a good spot to be.
Yeah, so
man, yeah.
These last comments, let me see. What'd you say? What you gonna say?
Josh McCown. That's the last thing I wanted to say. Josh McCown is a quarterbacks coach in Minnesota. I think he would be an excellent choice for any defensive minded head coach as an offensive coordinator, promotion, ex-quarterback here. And so once a Raider, always Raider. That's good. And I like what I've seen out of him and what he did with Bradford. So
yeah, what about Bruce Arians?
You know what? I just don't. I never loved him when he was, in his prime or anything. I would say he would be on my list ninth. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Dark horse candidate Kellen Moore. That'd definitely be a dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing that a franchise like ours in our history, we've been having this conversation 40 years without a Super Bowl victory. Hey, I feel you, but you got to start somewhere. It's about culture. Like I always say, you win championships from the top down, not the player up. And then we starting to make some moves up here, y'all. So let's watch it trickle down, and let's be happy today. This is a true reason to be happy, especially after what we've seen this year. Like, this was a consummate Raider year. Like, yeah. So. And huh?
Did I catch up to the Matrix now?
Oh yeah. Oh, you was logged out for a second. No, I'm just saying. I just said we should be happy because we're starting to win, making championship moves now. Getting rid of getting rid of a coach that we just know wasn't going to be what it was going to be. We could have tried to make it work, make it last, to see what's going to happen. Like I said, people need to stop saying we need to see what they got and all that. No, it is what it is. So we've seen it.
What they did is they are who we thought they were. Is the apt thing here. That's what happens always. They are who you think they are.
Yeah. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week, man.
Which team, by colors alone, is identifiable around the world?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Which team, by slogan, commitment to excellence?
Pillaging just for fun.
Just win, baby.
He'll knock you round.
All those things
Then upside down.
Are the Raiders.
And laugh when he's conquered and won.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win.
He's blowing up. Raiders.
Just win, baby.